The all-new WMEG Radio.
When truth doesn't matter anymore.
Good morning, welcome. This is The Outsiders. My name is Sean Sims. I'm your host. And I'm with
Kim Banks.
Oh, Kim Banks. I didn't even get a chance to give you the intro.
Go ahead, get.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
Give me this really. I'm so sorry. Go, Carrie.
I mean, I've used exquisite. I've used all types of terminology to describe my eclectic co-host, Kim Banks. Now you can go, Kim. Unbelievable.
I'm Kim Banks.
This is how we start off a rainy, dreary Saturday. Wow. I put the tree up. I just put the tree up. We haven't put the decorations up. You know, we haven't done that yet, but the tree is up.
Mine is up too. My daughter and I, we put up two. Two trees. One was not enough.
You got two trees.
Yes. I have two big windows, so we put one up in front of each window.
Unbelievable.
I had two trees, so I didn't want the other one to be lonely.
Are they the big ones? I got a big one.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
6 footers?
Artificial, yeah.
Artificial?
Yes, because,
oh my goodness.
yeah.
No, we went to a real
Live trees,
tree.
you know, when I was younger, that's all we did, but they are a lot of work and they make a lot of mess.
Yeah, but you sweep up, it's the smell.
I know.
Pine, it smells so
But
good.
you know, you can get the pine spray. You can buy the spray.
Is it one of those white artificial trees or is it
One
green?
is white and one is green.
I knew it. How did I know that? I was just guessing. I knew it. Anyway, today's show, we're going to have a special guest, Stephanie Murdock, president of the Skate Park of Baltimore group. And we're going to go over what's going on with this skate park business of Easterwood. And also, we're going to be talking with, she's going to give us a quick call, and we're going to actually have her as in-studio guest next week. But I figured, you know what, since we've got Stephanie on, and it's a skate park issue, and she is involved in that, and that is former state senator Barbara Robinson, and we'll have her on as well. And there are new elected officials being sworn in, I guess coming up this week, and I guess maybe earlier in the year, but clerk of the court for Baltimore City, I'll just go over that just a little bit, and Kanye West. Oh, here we go again with this. Round and round and round we go, right, Kanye? Swastikas and Twitter and all that. So I'm going to touch on that as well.
That poor baby.
Poor baby. Poor billionaire baby. The Ravens game, I got to talk about this. Harbaugh, the Ravens blowing another lead. I haven't talked to you about sports at all. Do you have any opinion on what happened this past Sunday with the Ravens and the Jaguars?
See, Sean, listen to me. Let me explain to you, because I know that you're new to the WMEG family, so you don't quite understand how this works, right?
Okay, explain to me.
We have a disclaimer here at WMEG.
Disclaimers.
When the Ravens lose on Sunday, we don't talk football for the rest of the day or the rest of the week.
Uh-oh. we're going to have a problem with that.
Yeah,
You know why?
listen.
Uh,
Listen, everybody understand.
uh-huh.
Listen, I need time to get myself together.
You got to get yourself
I got myself together yesterday.
That was a week ago. What are you talking
All right,
about?
so we're prepared for tomorrow.
It's a week ago. You don't have yourself together?
No, it takes that time, man. Listen. And then we have a show that comes on Tuesday called Welcome to Birdland. It's just like, you understand, man. So, see, you done got me worked up all over again, and I got to go out here and deal with this traffic in the rain. See, that's why we don't talk about football when the Ravens lose.
Oh, well, there's going to be an issue because he's going to be doing commentary, I guess, here and there. His name is Big John. I had a sports show called Ultimate Sports Radio some years ago, and he would come on and give commentary, and he wants to do some commentary on this game. I said, okay, Big John, we're going to have a clip of Big John's commentary, so he's going to be reintroduced again, and he's going to talk about that. Actually, this guy, I mean, he's a big guy, 6'7", 320, and
Wow.
my co-host of my other show, Ultimate Sports Radio, Sherman Pendergast. Sherman has passed away, but he was my co-host, and he was an MMA fighter. And I would help him with, the diet and a little bit of training, get his speed up a little bit. And we did show, I mean, we were all over the place. We were in Dallas, Texas. We were in Miami. And I would go ringside. I don't mean ringside, I mean in the corner.
That's
In
fine.
Texas, you have to get what is called a second boxing license for these MMA shows. So I was one of the corner guys. It was something else. And so they would sometimes get into it. Could you imagine me? I mean, at the time, I was about maybe 190. I was pretty, solid guy, and bodybuilding competitions and sports my whole life. So I was pretty solid guy. Could you imagine me with these two monsters? Sherman's like 6'2", 250, and I got Big John 6'7", 320, and they're arguing, and I'm in the middle. Could you imagine that? So I had to deal with these two monsters. But I've dealt with monsters before, so it's not the first time. But
You know what, though? Speaking of, real quick, you mentioned your bodybuilding championships. How do you feel about the women being in those? I was watching a documentary on Netflix, and I think it was called Killer Sally, I think, and
Killer
she
Sally.
and her husband were both bodybuilders. He was really becoming professional, and she was like tailing behind him. But she ended up killing him. It was a domestic violence
I did hear about
situation, but it was an educational experience for me to watch that show because it gave you some insight into what women have to go through in bodybuilding.
Well, once they get to a certain level, I mean, I did competitions. I actually qualified for the NPC Nationals, did the Maryland, and did some other shows, East Coast shows. So when you qualify and you get to that point, you're going to be getting some what we call extra help, because you have to get to that level and build your muscle up and get those rips and cuts. So you have to take some extracurricular activity to help you.
Okay.
And a lot of times with the ladies, and you can watch different videos and so on, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, I was taking this, that, and the other, and the bodily changes that happen. And I think as far as health-wise, as far as doing it to be healthy and working out to be fit and healthy, it's very good, very good. But I think once you start going down that road, then it's not more of a health thing. It's more of I want to get in the type of shape to compete so I can make money, because you can make a lot of money. So that gets real tricky on that. But I'm for the health. Working out for that reason, getting yourself, you want to look better, improve that. Then I used to be a personal trainer as well. So that I'm full on with that. And I, of course, was natural. So I never did any of extracurricular activities.
I'm certainly glad to hear that, Sean.
My wife is very happy about that as well. So
yes.
Let's get to Big John and hear what he has to say about the Ravens' loss to the Jaguars.
All right, Big John.
Okay, Rock. Clip 1.
All right. I was about to say, I know I ain't crazy. You ready?
We're ready. Big John's debut.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back on the air giving my sports analysis. Sean and Kim, you make a great team. Sean, you're a cool, straight shooter. And Kim, you call it like it is. I first want to point out the utter ineptitude of the coaching. Harbaugh, you should have called a timeout when Jacksonville was marching down the field. He's standing on the sideline looking like he just got dumped by his girlfriend. The coaches should be ashamed of themselves. Embarrassing. Another lead blown. And Lamar loved the guy. But his deep passes missed so many guys who were open. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with those passes. Hey Sean, maybe you can teach him how to throw those deep routes because his current quarterback coach, James Urban, yes James, you need to do a better job at teaching Lamar how to hit those deep passes so we can get the job done. At least on the long ball, James. And their red zone scoring sucks. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. They get in the red zone and they just act like the Keystone Cops. Sure, Lamar can run, and he did have 37 touchdown passes, and he was the NFL MVP in 2019. And his incredible stats, mind-blowing stats. However, he and the Ravens will never get to the Super Bowl, much less win it, if he can't hit guys wide open, deep. Hate Flacco or like him, he could hit those deep passes. And that is what Lamar needs to seriously work on. Lamar, you have to work on those deep passes. I don't care if you have to do it day and night. Because that's the only way that the Ravens are going to be successful. And by the way, regarding the tweet by Lamar, no comment. This is Big John on sports. Take care.
That Big John is something else. He's opinionated.
Indeed.
He doesn't hold back. He tells it,
He reminds me of someone.
Yeah, it does, doesn't he?
Yes.
But, he doesn't hold back. He tells it like it is. And I don't know. I'm screaming at the TV. I was with friends. We were out, and I'm screaming at the TV as the Jaguars are marching down the field. And it's like, call a time out. I'm screaming. Give your defense a little time to rest and relax. And then for the referees to just throw the game, the guy had 1 foot in, and it said it's a touchdown. The knee came out of bounds. I said, this is ridiculous. But Rock, he has no comment. He's probably over there sulking about that loss. But what I want to touch on is, as I mentioned, we have new elected officials. It looks like young Xavier Washington Conaway, Frank Conaway's grandson, Xavier. This is what I'm going to say, okay? I'm going to call him Xavier. I changed my last name from Washington to Conaway right before the election, Conaway. He did win. Right, Armstead? Wink, wink. So I spoke with his advisor, Hassan Giordano. It was after the election. And I spoke with him, and he still had, I guess, some words were said back and forth, and he still was feeling a little sensitive. But he said he sees great things in the future, from what I gathered from him, for Xavier, who at 25 years of age The way he pretty much feels, he's the best thing since sliced bread. I guess this guy's going to come in and shake things up and get things moving, get the circuit court moving, and because you're going to need to improve it, because we got good old Ivan Bates coming in, and he's going to prosecute. So that circuit court better get ready. It's going to get loaded up. Ivan's going to do his job and prosecute, so it's got to get processed. So that's how it works, people. Okay, it's not just a one-man show or two-man show. There are connecting parts that are involved in this whole process of
including the sheriff, the new sheriff,
Sam
Sheriff
Kogan, a buddy of ours. Congratulations to Sam as well. Yeah, but so there are parts to this system that have to all be operating at efficiency, and it seems as though he's going to come to judges. From what I'm hearing, the judges are very excited about the new innovations Xavier will be bringing, and they're just tickle pink. Can't wait for him to get in to get things changed and started up and get things moving along and innovated, and the Maryland electronic court moved at lightning speed and get things up to par.
Especially with the wealth of experience he brings to the table.
Well, I mean, come on. You're being facetious. He's only 25. Stop it. But they are looking for the good things from Xavier. And actually, I did actually give him a call. He gave me a call, and I wanted to see if he'd come in on the show and do the show, because we want to get the inside information. I wanted to know how he was going to get things moving up to speed. And we also gave some other folks a call in regards to the skate park. I'm going to mention them. Melissa Wells, delegate for the 40th District, reached out to her, no response. Melissa, bad delegate, no response. Reached out to Marlon Ampry, no response, bad delegate. 40th District, and reached out to Frank Conaway Jr., who did respond, okay? So Frank Conaway Jr. did respond, to his credit, and also reached out to new mayor, Brandon Scott. No response as of yet in regards to the skate park, because I just simply asked him the question. It's a simple question. Do you support State Senator Antonio Hayes' effort regarding the skate park for Easterwood? I mean, is that not a simple question?
It's a hot topic right now.
It's a hot topic.
And I'm just shocked that you got no response from these people.
Absolutely no, except
Crickets.
for Frank Conaway Jr., but from the delegates, Mary Wells, and we met her.
Yes, we did.
At a senior, older adult event. And I thought, okay, I'll call her, and she's going to call back. We've met her before and spoken with her.
And she seemed like she was going to be, really involved and in touch and responsive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then don't they all?
No, talk is cheap.
In the beginning, yeah.
Melissa, talk is cheap. Okay. So we're reaching out to people to find out, do they support State Senator Hayes in his efforts? And I also reached out to Baltimore City Councilman James Torrance. Crickets, nothing. No response back. James, bad councilman, James Torrance. Come on, guys, what is this?
I just don't understand. I mean, these are the people that are supposed to be running our government. On hot topics especially. You can't give us a one-sentence response? You just ignore the request? Nothing?
Well, I don't get it, but we're going to keep reaching out. And also, I'm not going to let you escape this either, because I reached out to Wes Moore. I actually had a contact with the campaign and reached out to them. Nothing. No response from Governor-elect Wes Moore, Mr. Leave No Child Behind, and there was no response. So I'm calling you all out. What is your answer? Do you support State Senator Antonio Hayes' effort in regards to the skate park, which would be in a predominantly black area for our black youth, something positive? Do you support it or his efforts or not? Stop hiding. Don't be scared. Talk to me.
The election hasn't been over that long ago, and already everyone has just retreated to their caves.
I give a fair interview, okay? I'm a professional. I've interviewed politicians. I've interviewed Olympic champions, boxing champions. I've interviewed all types of people in the clergy, the creme de la creme of society. I've interviewed them. So don't be scared. I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to jump you. I'm not going to bite, okay? Am I a bad guy, Kim? I mean...
No, and I would say that we don't come at people through the back door.
No,
it's in your face. It's right in your face.
I will call you. I will email you. I will text you and ask you straight up. So those are our efforts. And I'd like to give a quick shout out. Okay, I'm going to do that later. We've got a caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to the Outsiders.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. This is Barbara Robinson.
Oh, good morning, Miss Robinson.
State Senator Barbara Robinson, how are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How are you?
We're doing great, wonderful. I'm glad that you called in, and my mother, I read some excerpts of it, but your book, Through It All.
Which book?
Through It All.
Okay.
Wow. Well, we're going to have you in as, of course, a studio guest next week, but I just wanted to get you to call in just for a little bit, because what's going on with the skate park? What do you know what is going on? Because this, to me, as a black man, Baltimore native, born and raised, and wanting the best for our youth, what is going on with State Senator Antonio Hayes?
You know, Antonio's insecurity with himself around me, and his obvious, I have no idea what his obsession is, because he and I, when we first started out, we were both delegates, and I was taking over Kathy Pugh's position as senator. I sat down with Antonio, and I've been out here fighting in the trenches for black women, for businesses, and for black families for over 60 years. That's before this man ever got on this planet. So I sat with him, and we had breakfast over at Village of Cross Keys.
Okay.
And I told him, I wanted to stay in for another year as a senator, because I had gone to Annapolis to fight for minority businesses in the healthcare industry. And I didn't think that there was anybody in Baltimore, in Maryland actually, could take on that challenge other than me, because by that time I had been in business almost 30 years, providing services to people with developmental disabilities. Well, Maryland was discriminating against women in business. Out of 250 businesses in the healthcare industry, there were only 5 blacks, and they successfully closed down 2 and came after the other 3, and I was one of the 3. So when I sat and explained this to Antonio, and I said that, and I need to be in Annapolis because I understand where this racism is coming from, and I want to fight. Antonio told me that no. He said he was hearing in the streets, or his machine, as he said. He says, I have a machine behind me, and we say that you're too old.
A machine? He said he had a machine behind him?
Yeah, he had a machine behind him.
Okay.
And the machine is telling him that I was too old.
Oh, that is so disrespectful.
Wow.
Go ahead.
What I wanted to do, Senator Robinson, is I wanted to play a clip of this machine that he had behind him. So I'm going to pay it.
You mean the one that bought him for $50,000?
Yes, I'm going. Oh, you jumped the route on me. But Rock, could you go ahead and play that clip, the Wolfpack clip, please?
Yeah.
So
and I write about that in my book.
That mattered a lot. It was a state Senate race in District 40 in Maryland. That was a race that Wolfpack got involved in. That is, of course, the group to get money out of politics. They had supported Antonio Hayes, who was in the House side in Maryland and had voted for their resolution. Barbara Robinson was the current state senator there, and she had cost Wolfpack a victory in Maryland. They had they'd won in the Assembly, what I refer to as the House there, in Maryland, and they had 24 co-sponsors, and there's only 47 senators in Maryland, so they were going to win. But in the committee hearing, Barbara Robinson did not show up. She abstained because of establishment Democratic fears of a convention. The Wolfpack believes that we can get an amendment to get money out of politics through a convention, not through Congress. And there's some progressive groups or groups pretending to be progressive who think a convention is a bad idea, and they pretend that they are powerful, and they whisper in these state senators' ears, and they say, oh, no, the Democratic Party's against that, and we got your back. Well, Wolfpack decided they were going to have Antonio Hayes' back. They put $50,000 into that race. $50,000 in a state senate race is no joke. Yeah. So what I explained when we talked about that on air earlier on the Young Turks, well, in the local races, we have the financial advantage. Now, a lot of people cry about that. They say, oh, well, that's not fair, or that's ironic. You guys are using money in politics. To which I say, goddamn right we are. So there's a great way to stop that. Barbara Robinson could have voted to get money out of politics, then it wouldn't have been in our race. Well, as things stand now, 63.56 to 36.44. Antonio Hayes is going to be the new state senator there. So, sad day for the forces that oppose Wolfpack.
Now, this was from the 2018 race, and the person you heard speaking, his name is Cenk, C-E-N-K, Yeager, U-Y-G-U-R. He is a Turkish guy. He was actually born in Istanbul. He's in L.A. now, as far as I know, his organization. And he and his organization, which he started, the Wolfpack organization, which he founded, decided to stick their nose in the Baltimore business. You talk about a carpetbagger. What do you think of this guy, Senator Robinson?
You know, God saved me from that bullet, because when I was on my way to session one morning, this guy had no idea who he was, and he said he wanted to meet with me, and I didn't have time. So when we were in session and this bill came up that he's talking about, I had no clue what this bill was. And I'm not going to vote on something if I don't understand what it is.
Of course.
Because if my constituents ask me about it, I don't have an explanation. So I did not vote against the bill. I abstained. I asked Joan Carter Conway if we could hold it for me to read it so I can find out what it was. And that's not unusual. I mean, that happens all the time.
All the time.
If you're in committee and if you're going to vote on something, for you to pull a bill out of the voting in order to review it, I mean, that's done all the time. Joan Carter Conway wouldn't do that. And then I later learned he didn't, that Antonio Hayes is her godson, as she said.
What?
So it's like these things were stacked against me.
Nepotism.
And the fact that this man put $50,000 into Antonio's campaign and then had the audacity to brag that if someone does not vote the way that he or his organization want them to vote, then he will see that they don't get elected. That's saying to me, if you put money into a certain campaign, you own that individual.
Yes,
nobody owns Barbara Robinson but God.
Well, State Senator Robinson, at least you're a person with integrity, and you're correct. If you have a bill that comes before you, you're supposed to read over it, study it. If they rush it to you and say, okay, just go with the team and vote. Wait a second. I have integrity. I have to read over this bill. I have constituents that I'm responsible for. I'm going to do my job properly, and that's what you were doing.
Making
and
an informed decision.
Making an informed decision, and then you have this vote, I guess, pushed to the floor, and you're going to abstain because you didn't have time. You go back to Joan Carter Conway and say, whoa, Joan, why don't you put it back on the floor? I've read it now. Put it back on the floor so I can vote on it. I want to go on record as supporting it because I did not have time to read this whole bill, and I just wasn't going to go toe the line and not be responsible to my constituents. And you did the correct thing. And his godmother, that sounds like nepotism to me. That sounds like a setup.
It's just being
That
sneaky.
doesn't sound good at all.
It was a setup with that, and it was another setup with a liquor board. I mean, with a liquor store on North Avenue. Yeah, that was the setup. And you know something? But I am so glad because now I got a chance to sit back. I do Barbara Robinson, and I don't have to worry about Ethics Commission, Joan Carter Conway, the Wolf Pack, or Antonio Hayes. I can look at it like it is and tell it like it is. It's his reputation that he should be worrying about and not worrying about Barbara Robinson. Because when you have a black man in a position to have individuals in a city where I was on House Bill 1287 that passed in 2017 that created Maryland's first commission, a school-to-prison pipeline commission in Baltimore. Antonio don't know that great thing about that. And what he should be doing
we have another call coming in. We have State Senator. We have another call coming in. I believe she's a friend of yours.
Okay. I sent the caller's voicemail. Goodbye.
We had a call coming in, I believe, from Stephanie Murdock, the president of the skate park of Baltimore. She's going to be calling in.
Yes. Let's try to get her back on.
We're going to try to get her
Senator, hold on.
back online. Senator Robinson, could you hold on for just a second? We're going to try to get Stephanie Murdock back on the line because you were really going. the information you were given is vital information and important.
She was revved up.
And the people, they do need to know and understand what really goes on, what really happens. This is why we're the outsiders. Okay. Okay, Stephanie, are you there?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, great. We got Stephanie Murdock on the line now with former State Senator Barbara Robinson. Stephanie, how are things going with that skate park business?
Hi. Well, first of all, good morning, and thank you for...
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. This is Barbara Robinson.
Hi, it's so great to hear your voice.
You as well.
Well, I have known, I actually am looking at a picture in my living room right now of former Senator Robinson at the ribbon cutting of the skate park in Hamden.
Oh, wow.
So that was, gosh, how long ago is that?
Yeah.
Almost 10 years ago. So,
That's right.
Yeah, so you have been with us quite a long time as we advocate for these different recreational opportunities across our city. And through that partnership, we were the Skate Park of Baltimore, which is the nonprofit we started 15 years ago to build public skate parks in the city of Baltimore. Has been successful in bringing a skate park to Hamden, to Rashfield, and now we're working on a project. We've been working on it for the past 5 years with the Matthew A. Henson community to bring a skate park to Easterwood Park. And you have, I'm sure, seen the roller coaster that we've been on over the past few months, trying to push this process forward, trying to hold our electeds accountable for the promises that have been made to this community. And this work in particular dates back to 2018, and we were really on track. We were shovel ready, so to speak. We went through all of the sequential steps of the skate park's development process, from community building to design, advocacy, a lot of outreach activities. And we had our designs completed, and the project was supposed to be bid out at the beginning of this year. The funds has been allocated through the city's FY20 and FY22 capital budget. Yeah. So we were really expecting that, this time of this year, we'd actually be down there skating. Maybe not today because it's raining, but we were informed over the summer by the Department of Recreation and Parks in a closed meeting with some of our elected officials that the project would not be moving forward. And we've been struggling to get a clear answer as to why for the past 6 months. So we have been really busy reaching out to all of our state advocates, reaching out to the community, trying to get in touch with our electeds and requesting a meeting to try to get this project back on track and try to answer so many of the questions that have been circulating in the community as to why this isn't moving forward. And Senator Robinson was with us in front of City Hall at War Memorial Plaza just back in October. And a cold, rainy day, we had 50 people outside of City Hall, mostly youth. Some of them traveling very long distances to be there and support this project. And we still have not received a acceptable or reasonable or accountable answer from the city of Baltimore as to why this project isn't moving forward.
Well, maybe State Senator Robinson might have some inside information, maybe the inside skinny as far as personal issues regarding State Senator Antonio Hayes. May that be the reason why?
And I think it is. I think it is. The fact that he had a meeting, well, he didn't have the meeting, that the president of the board of directors of St. Francis and the executive director of St. Francis and staff member of St. Francis met with Antonio Hayes about capital money that was already in the budget that we've been using to use to expand St. Francis. He had the audacity to lean back on his laurels and put his feet up and say that if any affiliation that Barbara Robinson actually called Hayes, if Barbara Robinson is affiliated with any of the projects, that he or his office would not be involved. And that's saying something for a whole lot of organizations in Baltimore City and Maryland that Barbara Robinson is involved with. I've got 60 years, as I said, of working out there in the field. And the fact that I was involved with Easterwood, the same with St. Francis, and I bet you anything in the world, the fact that he's already made that statement about St. Francis, that's the same premise that he's not doing anything for Easterwood.
Well, Stephanie,
how old is this guy? I mean, grow up.
And because Doug Cheatham. Because Doug Cheatham calls him out the same way that
yes, he
call
does.
him out.
Doug Cheatham does call him out. Stephanie, in hearing that, what do you think about what you just heard?
Well, I've had a lot of different theories, and I hate to point fingers at people, but really what I believe is happening is political pandering at the expense of our youth. Personal issues are, being exploited at the expense of our youth. And like I said, we've been working on this project in conjunction with the community, even with the senator. We received a letter of support from Senator Hayes that we used to try to apply for different grants, specifically to build a public skate park in Easterwood Park. So it's really a shame that, maybe some personal differences may be the cause of this being derailed, but I really want to focus on directing the conversation towards what we need to do to move this project forward. And the interesting part, I think, about the funding and the way that this is all playing out, the majority of this funding came from the city's capital budget. In FY 2020, they allocated $300,000 by name for the development of not only the skate park, but a new basketball court in Easterwood Park to replace the area that was to be disturbed by the construction of the skate park, along with other overall improvements. So when we were told that the project was not moving forward, of course we wanted to know why, and we were told that it was the preference of the community to use the funding for overall park improvements. Now, every park
okay, don't they do that?
Could use overall park
But don't they,
improvements.
before you approve anything, first, I'm a business person. Before you approve a project like that, you go over all the different scenarios, you go over the financial scenario, you go over the structure, you go over construction, you go over the grounds, you go over all the different scenarios, and you get all that straightened out before you even approve it. So to come back and say, oh, gee whiz, well, maybe we fumbled the ball. Well, we actually have to do other improvements first is ridiculous.
And we're not opposed to other improvements in Easterwood Park. I mean, that park has been neglected for decades, and it took the advocacy of the community and the skateboarding community and the roller skating community and the bike community to draw attention to Easterwood Park and the need to improvement. And then all of a sudden, when there's money in the budget, everyone seems to be coming out of the woodwork as to how it should be used, when in fact that money was allocated by the city by name in two consecutive line items towards the construction of not only the skate park, but a new basketball court and overall improvements. So these cracks in the sidewalk and these broken fences at Easterwood, we want to see them fixed too, but these didn't happen overnight. And there's enough money in the budget. There's over $1 million in the budget towards Easterwood Park. So why can't we have it all? And I think it's just really silly that and unfortunate that we're in this position where, the personal politics are getting in the way of providing a real wonderful facility for the youth of this community that need it so much.
It's sad and it's silly what's going on. It's ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. It was irresponsible as well. I actually reached out to State Senator Antonio Hayes to have him on the show. I reached out on a couple of occasions. His assistant did send in email to me stating that he would like to speak with me, interview, or maybe even do the show. I said, fine, let's do the show. And I confirmed it on my end because I'm a professional. Now, I was waiting for them to confirm on their end, and I didn't get any response back. Unprofessional, no response. At least I could have received a response saying, well, we'll do the interview Monday. His schedule's tight. He's on the West Coast. Things are going on. But I did not receive a response back. And with this skate park, as far as I'm looking at the information, this would be the only skate park in a predominantly black neighborhood in Baltimore City?
I would say that the skate parks are predominantly located in white communities. Right now we have 4 skate parks in the city of Baltimore. We have one in Hamden. We have one downtown that just opened at Rash Field.
Okay.
At the Inner Harbor. We have one over in Carroll Park in West Baltimore. And then we have a very small one in Curtis Bay, South Baltimore. But this would be the first skate park in a predominantly black community. And it boggles my mind that here we are, celebrating skateboarders in the Olympics, African-American champions from the United States that are inspiring, millions of children all over the world, that we're still having this conversation that, around if skate parks are a valuable amenity or not for neighborhoods. It has one of the lowest barriers to entry.
Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie. We have someone on hold, I believe.
Yes, I have. I've asked Josie Brown.
Okay, she's calling in now.
To join us. She's
We're going to
a
bring her
lead
through.
advocate and a longtime volunteer with the skate park of Baltimore.
Okay, we're bringing her on now.
Awesome.
Okay, Rock, you got it? We're plugging her in.
Hi.
Okay. Hello,
Hi,
Susie.
Sophie. Good morning.
Hi, how are you doing? Welcome
Good
to the
morning.
Outsiders.
Good morning.
I'm doing fine. I was just calling in, to, speak my piece, on the
Speak
whole
it.
matter.
Go ahead, speak it. Good to have you on the show.
It's just, the whole point we want to stay, focused on is moving forward. So we still don't have any answers, any real answers. I mean, we just keep getting, brushed off with these, I want to say, petty excuses, that really don't make any sense, identifiable. So, that is the call, that is, why we want real, actual answers. I don't know if Stephanie told you about, our plans moving forward, about, how we plan to protest at all times convenient for us, wherever there is going to be government elected officials, we plan to be there because we want to be in these people's face and show them that we're not just going to roll over and we're not just going to stop. The money has been raised. It's not hurting anyone to build this skate park. It would actually be helping not just the community but the youth. So to negate the youth of such a beautiful thing, of such a productive and constructive thing, is just ridiculous. There's no reason for it, and I feel like that's why we haven't gotten the answers as to why they don't want to move forward with this. It's not costing anybody anything. Everything is already done. Everything is already ready.
We've been asked for a face-to-face meeting since this summer, since the June of this year. Sit down with us. We've been working successfully with the city for over 15 years to build some really awesome facilities. We were in weekly communications with Rec and Parks for the past 5 years, who had put their stamp on the project, that had completed the designs for the project, that was ready to put it out for bid, and all of a sudden, we can't even get the courtesy of a sit-down meeting.
Well, you couldn't even get the courtesy of a handshake. I saw the video, and
and I was just about to say
wow,
that.
That was incredible.
It was juvenile.
I actually was there that night, and I saw Senator Hayes. I spoke to him. When I walked past him, I said hello, and he didn't even say anything. But what's important is not focusing on the low blows of these elected officials, but focusing on how we're going to operate around such pettiness.
It is pettiness, and your focus is correct. You want to stay focused. Let the outsiders deal with that other stuff. That's what we do. You guys, what you're doing is to focus on the positive, focus on getting the skate park built, and that is the way to go. Don't worry about calling people out and going over what they're doing wrong and that sort of thing. That's the job for us. We're the outsiders. We do that.
And I believe it's going to happen. It's just going to take a little longer.
Yes,
That's all. It's going to happen.
It's going
And
to happen.
I think overall as well is another reason we don't want to fight fire with fire is because children are watching.
Yes.
We're doing this for the children.
Yes.
And also that's just not the type of people we are.
No.
So it's like, even though, anyone can be provoked to such low level, low blows, we just don't let it go that we don't let that provoke us to anger or to be irrational or get irate, because the children are watching. They see us advocating for them. So it's important to stay in a positive light for these children, and to make this happen gracefully.
Good for you.
Right?
You are setting an example.
You're very wise for your young age. I mean, Warren did a good job, and your mom did a really good job.
You know this about Sophie, but she is an internationally ranked skateboarder.
I saw the video.
Right.
I saw her. She's good.
From West Baltimore. She just recently was in California competing in the Exposure event, which is the largest female skate competition in the United States. So, skateboarding is an avenue to so many different things. I mean, so she's a singer and a rapper, and she is a role model.
You go, girl.
For all of these young women.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic because
Thank
that's
you,
what
guys.
exactly. That's what this represents. This represents a positive form of outlet, of building for the youth of Baltimore City, where they can go somewhere and get this. And I believe you do instructions and teaching as well, Sophie?
Yes. Yes.
I saw the interview. I saw the video. I saw the skateboard. You should see her, Kim. You should see her in action. It's unbelievable.
I can
this
just
girl
imagine.
is
It's one of
talented.
the best.
This young lady is talented.
Wow.
And we are for you guys. We're 100% behind what you're doing. It is positive. We need positive role models out there for the youth. And you see on the news all the time, it's negative,
Yes.
especially for our young black youth. But we do have positive youth out there, young folk out there who are doing really good things.
Yes.
And more light needs to be shown on them.
Yeah, you're our leaders of tomorrow.
Exactly.
And thank you so much for being such a bright light for us.
We will actually, tomorrow, we're going to be in the Mayor's Christmas Parade, the 49th annual Christmas Parade.
Oh.
Okay.
Demanding equity for Easterwood. We'll have equity for Easterwood t-shirts, and we invite, the parade starts at 1. We meet at Poly Votex at noon in the parking lot. And, we want the community to know that we're not going to stop fighting for this. And we invite everyone to come out and walk with us, roll with us, skate with us, bike with us, because this is a facility that's going to serve, not just skateboarders, and I think there's a misconception about that. These are kids on scooters, kids on bicycles, and Sophie, I'm sure you can speak to this, but how many times have you seen people doing video shoots or photo shoots down at the skate park, or
Oh my goodness, all the time. Even I myself have done a music video at the skate park, SOP. So, it's a multi-purpose environment.
Well, that's fantastic, guys. What we're going to do, we're going to have State Senator Barbara Robinson in studio next week, and Stephanie and Sophie, thanks for coming on the show. And we got to have you guys on again, and we're gonna keep our eyes and ears open on this issue. Okay, guys?
we love that.
We appreciate that so much.
Okay.
Please keep the pressure on our elected officials. If you run into Director Moore of Rec and Parks, if you run into Mayor Scott, if you run into Councilman Torrance, if you run into Senator Hayes, please ask them and request that they continue to work with us, continue to push this forward. I mean, we don't mind waiting because we've been waiting a long time for this, but to completely pull it off the table, it's not fair. And it's these broken promises to the community that are the biggest snubs in this situation.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, and we will keep our eyes and ears on this.
Very informative.
And we support you guys and what you do. Take care.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, Kim, that was something
That
else.
was some great information.
Well, see, this is the scuttlebutt.
Powerful.
That's why we're the outsiders. We get the inside information.
Yeah.
You're just not going to hear this anywhere else, period.
And
We
they're not
dig
giving
deeper.
up. That's what I like. They will not be defeated.
They will not be defeated. And this wolf pack and young Turks to come in to my city where I was born and raised, and to do this, L.A., West Coast coming to the East Coast, sticking their nose in our business.
Right.
And giving this guy $50K. And this Tank, what did he say? But in the committee hearing, Barbara Robinson did not show up. She abstained because the establishment Democrat fears of a convention, blah, blah, blah. That's not the reason.
And then he
She gave the real reason.
Old.
And he just made this up. No, we don't do that on the outsiders. We actually give you the real information. We don't make things up just to push a story. And $50,000. Wow, I mean that's you're just making a deal with the devil. You just cut a deal. Hey, $50,000. You just cut. Our engineer Rock is leaving us now.
Bye,
Goodbye,
Rock.
Rock. Have fun. We have Nicole here now.
Make the donuts.
Time to make the donuts.
Look, Sean, before our time eventually runs out, I want to mention that WMEG is sponsoring a very nice event at Glory Days.
WMEG Online Radio.
Next Friday. It's a restaurant. It's like pub style food. Next Friday at 7:00.
Where's it located?
What is the
What is
address,
the
Nicole? Do you
location
know
of Glory
offhand?
Days? It's in
Towson.
In Towson.
The Glory Days
So
restaurant.
I'm sure you can look it up, folks. Shouldn't be too hard. And it's going to be a singles meet and greet.
It's just a meeting.
Just a meet and greet. Okay, and
This part is DJ Rock thing.
okay,
Oh, DJ
that's
Rock's on the
DJ
singles
Rock
part.
trying to turn it into a singles
A
meet and
mixer.
greet. Okay, but it is definitely a meet and greet.
Oh, boy.
Sean and I will be there. Come
Yes.
out and see us in person.
Come
Meet
on
us
out.
in person
Meet
and
us in
fellowship
person.
with us. They're going to be strong drinks. And the food puts you in mind of Applebee's and Fridays.
Oh, boy.
That kind of cuisine. So indeed, come on out and join us. Next Friday at 7:00, Glory Days in
Towson.
Yeah,
Towson.
Glory Days in Towson.
The DJ will be there.
And DJ Rock
Yep.
will be there, mixing it up
Between 9 and 12.
between 9 and 12.
I'm going to get back to this business with this Young Turks. And this guy makes a comment, Chank, talking about money in politics and getting money out of politics. Does that make any sense, getting money out of politics? That's like saying, let's get oxygen out of the Earth's atmosphere, or let's get plasma out of blood. And we can still live, even though you don't have plasma in your blood. Or yeah, it doesn't make any. Money is the life source of politics. And then he used money, $50,000, in order to move an election for somebody who was going to go with his agenda bought and paid for. So what kind of sense? This doesn't even make any sense. I want to get money out of politics. I'm going to start an organization, the Wolf Pack. And remember, folks, all you church folks, you know that wolves do come in sheep's clothing.
Indeed.
So the name is apropos for exactly what's going down. And it just doesn't make any sense. You need money. Kim and I know this. We ran a campaign. You need money for signs. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
You need money for buttons and airtime and T-shirts and hats, etc. On and on and on. And you can't manage a campaign if you don't have any funds. You can manage nothing because you'll have air. So
Need
this
that
doesn't
money.
make. But you know, hey, $50,000. Hey, buddy. Let's get on. We're gonna finish this out just briefly with Kanye West and this swastika and Star of David. First of all, how do you mix the swastika, which was used as a symbol of the Nazis, and the Star of David, which is the Jewish flag symbol? How do you square that circle? Kim, seriously. How do you do that? How do you mix that two and then say, okay, well, and then say, well, you know what, that Adolf Hitler, he was a great guy. What is wrong with him? What is wrong with him? What is wrong with him?
He scares me.
What is he doing? And then he's on Alex Jones. You know, he's on Alex Jones, and Alex, I listened to Alex for years. I mean, he says stuff you gotta take everything with a grain of salt and look it up. But he's got some stuff on there on his show that's actually legit. And then he said things that are a little, I gotta go, hey Alex, I gotta look into that a little bit more. But he's on Alex Jones, and even Alex had to say, well, wait a minute. Look, yay, because he legally changed his name from Kanye West to just Y.E. So it's now, he's got a 2-letter name, and Kanye, I like the music, and, you know, I don't know what's going on with him mentally.
No one knows.
Kim Kardashian. Have you seen Kim Kardashian? She looks like she lost about 40 pounds. It's unbelievable.
Well, she was already quite small.
No, she's smaller.
You mean to tell me?
She's smaller.
Well, then she looks sick.
She's been,
If she's
I wouldn't say
lost-
sick, but I would say, I wouldn't say
already a
emaciated,
nice size.
but I wouldn't use those terms, but she's definitely down to, I don't know, a size 2,
Oh,
0
wow.
or something like that. I mean, she's smaller. So
And I
don't know
wonder
what's going
if
on
that's
with
coming
that.
from stress, or if, you know, she's in that world where skinny is it.
Well, maybe she's...
You know, looking like you
Who knows?
haven't had anything to eat in 3 months is the thing.
I mean, she looks fit, but she's smaller. I mean, maybe it was the breakup with Pete Davidson that did it. That maybe that was stressed her out. Because Pete, you know, he's quite the ladies' man. This guy, Saturday Night Live.
I
Have
tell
you
you,
seen the list of women he's been with? It's friggin' unbelievable. I don't get it, but obviously he must be gifted. I'll leave it at that. Because that is something else. But this thing that's going on with the skate park, we're going to keep an eye on that, and we're going to make sure that things are done right. I'm going to keep trying to get in touch with, you know I don't stop.
No.
I was in sales for years and years and years. We don't ever, you never take no for an answer.
Right.
I was in sales for years. So we're going to keep going with that. We're not going to stop. We're going to find out what's going on with that issue, the outsiders.
Yeah,
We get the
because we
inside
need
information.
not continue to bring all of the problems to the table without any solutions. And this was a great solution to what our youth need. I mean, it's not a cure-all, but it's a start.
It is. And before we get off the air, I do have to, I was going to do this earlier, but I have to give a shout out to my former professor at Coppin State, State Senator Dolores Kelly. She was my professor, and she got on me. She said, Mr. Simmons, you say too much. Your speech is fine, and you speak well, because I was in a public speaking class, public speaking and linguistics, and so I have to thank Senator Kelly for my elocution and speech on the air, because she did train me in college, and she's retired, but she was she's quite a fine lady, fine senator, state senator, where people should look up to, and former state senator Barbara Robinson as well.
Yes.
These ladies were fine senators.
I'm
and
going to
looked
get
out
her book.
for their constituency, and the book is Through It All. If Google it, get it, people. You have to. My mom read
Sure,
this thing.
Amazon has it.
My mom read this book, and I can hear her in the room going, wow, just screaming like, what is going on? Oh, you should see this. It's like, this is the book? She says, yes. Oh my goodness, the things that were in there. I'm not gonna give it up. We're gonna have
Her back on the show next
we're gonna
time.
have her in studio. Okay. Former state senator Barbara Robinson. We're gonna have her in studio. She's gonna talk about the book Through It All and the issues and things that she's dealt with in her life, and we're going to go over all that with her. And isn't there something you wanted to talk to me about, Kim?
I believe it was
before we came on air.
Friday.
Before we came on air.
Oh, yes.
No, you wanted to get on my
I wanted to know if
case.
we were going to discuss BRICS, I believe it was, and what happened.
Well, I'm going to bring that up next week. The BRICS countries, what's going on with the dollar bill,
Yes.
with the dollar, the petro-backed dollar, and how
serious.
these countries are trying. They're after us. They're after
because that is scary.
our money. They're trying to do some things to devalue that dollar with their own currency, and there's a fight going on. People aren't even aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Anytime you have all of these countries gather together, they are forming a team against the United States. We are in trouble.
And NATO, the NATO nations.
Yeah.
The BRICS nations. They're Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And you know, some other countries, Iran is trying to get into that mix. Saudi Arabia, they want to get in with them. And it's going to get, we're going to be in for a fight. So President Joe Biden, I don't know, you better pop some more of those, Geritol pills. Do whatever you need to do, get some B12 shots, because you got 2 more years left. Oh, I hope he makes it.
He will. I think he will.
I don't know.
He'll make it.
Have you seen the fumbles and bumbles?
Slow. He's
not just that. It's just the mistakes he's making and what he's saying. He's walking off stage, walking the wrong way, and I'm going. You know, we're having more and more senior moments. Not to downplay the older adults, but because they're very precious and important to us. Don't get me wrong, but it's not looking good.
And he was Big Sexy at one time, remember? Big Sexy with the Corvette.
Oh, the Corvette.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Big Sexy.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. I'll stop. I'm just going to stop.
But what's going on with the BRICS nations, and I'm going to touch on that more, and the dollar, the devaluation, possibly what's going on there, this recession business, and the railway strike. We didn't even have enough time to talk about the railway strike, and then the fire chief was fired. The fire chief was fired.
This happens every week, every Saturday. We just get into it and have so much fun, we run out of time. It's going to happen every Saturday. Now, we have Senator Robinson coming on next week. You know that's going to take up the majority of the show. I already know. I'm
going to get into the BRICS nations and what's going on. So people, this is not just a local show. We cover hot topics. We cover news, international, national. This is international, big time news. And I'm going to deal with that. And we're going to talk about these type of issues even more. So this is the show, The Outsiders. We have the inside information, and people, we've been getting some good reviews. I've had people pull me up and say, hey, Sean, that show, it's informative. I didn't know that. Or, wow, you're saying things I had no idea, I didn't know about. And so we're getting good reviews. We're actually picking up an award.
Yes.
December the 10th. Our first piece of hardware. And the Donnie Glover Black Media, we have an award. So it looks like we're the new kids on the block, and we're being appreciated for the time that we put in our hard work and research.
Yeah, we like to give people information they can use.
So we're going to go ahead.
Instead of just filler.
We're going to wrap it up, okay? And we will see you all, hear you all, speak to you all next week.
Saturday,
11 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yes.
The Outsiders.
Thank you for joining us.
Say goodbye. Take care.
Be blessed.
God bless. Take care.
Be blessed.
God bless.